All right, good evening and welcome to TV47 Weekend on this beautiful day. We begin Disruptive Friday coming up tonight as the nation witnessed the culmination of Azimio's countrywide protest on its third and final day. A late evening drama unfolded with reports emerging of a raid at the residence of former President Uhuru Kenyatta's son's home.
Well, amidst the ongoing political stalemate, TV47 also brings you an exclusive interview with Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka addressing the allegations of him being under house arrest. Stay tuned as we delve into the heart of the matter in this broadcast.
Well, certainly that is not all. Tonight marks the inaugural episode of Disruptive Fridays. Prepare for an engaging conversation with tech leaders as we explore intriguing perspectives in the ever-evolving world of technology.
Well, don't miss out on tonight's lineup packed with factual reports and insightful discussion. I have with me, actually we are privileged to have with us in studio two industry leaders on matters artificial intelligence. Right up in a few, we're going to be talking about the threats AI presents or even the opportunities. But first, let's have a look at the highlights.
Tonight, police conduct a raid at the residence of Jomo Kenyatta, the eldest son of former President Uhuru Kenyatta in Karen, Nairobi County.
Do you have to go and look for my mother? Do you have to go and look for my children? Right? Come for me. I'm here.
The former president was present at the house shortly after the raid and expressed his discontent with the alleged decision to target his family.
Angry protesters in Busia town closed off all roads, laying massive stones on the tarmac in response to the death of a pupil who was shot during anti-government demonstrations.
Alipigwa risasi ikapita kwa pacha na sasa hawezi tembea.
Also, protests in the country have had a significant impact on fast-moving consumer goods, with 13 major manufacturing subsectors being the hardest hit.
Transporting goods, the basic essentials, to the supermarkets, to the retail outlets. This has, of course, a major impact. Consumers who cannot go and buy those goods also then has a negative impact on the flow of goods and the demand erosion which happens as a result.
Well, it will be important for you to interact with us on this very broadcast. We'll be sampling some of your comments before we close the broadcast. Certainly the hashtag is TV47 Weekend. Welcome on board as we get to look at the stories of the day and importance, the conversation of the day. My name is Linda Alela. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Catherine Simaloi. Let's begin. And learning has been disrupted in Busia town following the death of one student who was shot dead and several other injured in the ongoing anti-government protest. And as Elizabeth Atieno now reports, Bondo Township Chief's house has been torched by angry protesters who blame him for the demise of two people killed during the demonstrations on Thursday evening.
All roads leading to Busia town have been closed by angry protesters who have resorted to laying huge stones on the tarmac following the demise of one student who was shot dead during the anti-government demonstrations. As of now, 4 schools have been closed as the battle between the police and protesters intensify.
As it stands now, baadhi ya mashule zimelazimishwa kufungwa kwa sababu ya wanafunzi na walimu kurushiwa tear gas. Shule ya St. Mathias imefungwa, Burumba imefungwa, Our Lady of Mercy imefungwa.
According to Busia Referral Hospital Superintendent Dr. Violet Omoto, the deceased was a Form 1 student at St. Mathias High School and was in critical condition when he was received at the facility and breathed his last while on transit to Bungoma Referral Hospital.
Nilipokea wagonjwa wawili. Mmoja alikuwa ameumizwa mguu na jiwe lakini alitibiwa kaenda nyumbani. Tukabaki na mtoto mmoja wa miaka karibu 13. Huyo naye ilikuwa ni bullet. Alipigwa risasi ikapita kwa pacha.
A section of residents have pointed an accusing finger at police officers allegedly robbing them of their belongings while pretending to be restoring peace and security in the area.
Wakapiga mlango teke, wakaingia ndani, wakanikanyaga kwa kifua na kwa mkono hapa, alafu wakachukua chakula nilikuwa kwa juu ya meza, wakaenda nayo na vitu vingine venye zilikuwa kwa nyumba walibeba. Sasa hii harakati pia baba watoto wangu walikuwa kwa nyumba, pia akachukuliwa, anataka kupigwa, na kuuliza mwanaume kama ako kwa hiyo nyumba atoke nje ama tuwaue wote. Mmoja akakoka bunduki akataka kunishoot.
We are pursuing the leaders of the jobless group and other goons which they operate as an enterprise within Marachi Estate.
An almost similar situation was witnessed in Kisumu, where 3 people are nursing gunshot wounds at the Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Referral Hospital after police and protesters were engaged in running battles.
Napenda awe viongozi wote wawili wakuje pamoja waongee ili watoto wetu wapate nafasi ya kwenda shule, because hatuwezi peleka watoto shule na nchi vile inafanana, sio vizuri.
Bondo Township Chief Walter Omolo's home has been set ablaze by angry protesters who accused him of siding with police officers, leading to the death of 2 people during the Thursday's demonstrations.
And the protesters are saying that I'm the one who pointed that person to the police to kill. Because I was not there, I did not agree with him, and it was somehow that we exchanged. That how can somebody say that I was there and I'm out of there, I'm near my home.
Elizabeth Atieno, TV 47.
And in the same breath, manufacturers in the country say that protests called by the Azimio Brigade could result in a serious shortage of basic commodities and equally a shutdown of industries. This comes as Interior CS Kithure urges Kenyans to resume their normal activities as the country is peaceful.
The widespread uncertainty and fear occasioned by the protests in the last few months have caused insurmountable losses to businesses in the country. The manufacturing sector, which contributed about 1 trillion shillings to the economy last year, makes up for approximately 7% of the gross domestic product. CAM now says the growth of this sector is being jeopardized by the current political state of the country, and tripling this as intended in the next 7 years might not be achieved.
When we see that there are areas where they are not able to move their goods around, that actually has a direct impact. And also, more so, many of the FMCG companies which are also transporting goods, the basic essentials, to the supermarkets, to the retail outlets.
They say logistics and the movement of goods have been the most compromised in every value chain, the hardest hit remaining fast-moving consumer goods, including basic necessities like flour, sugar, and other such household commodities.
And these are things that as an industry and as a manufacturing sector, we need to start looking into so as to protect our manufacturers and their employees.
They have expressed their growing concern on the manner in which the political class is handling the disagreement and have urged the government to embrace dialogue. While paying a courtesy visit to traders in Nairobi CBD, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki has assured the businesses that they should fear no more, and the prevailing peace this Friday will be the norm from now henceforth. Hibak Said for TV 47.
Now, President William Ruto has continued his condemnation on the attacks and, of course, followed attacks against the opposition over the protest, saying it will not be forced to share power. The president and his allies, who are on a tour in Murang'a, lauded the police for the manner in which they handled the protesters.
The government has told off the opposition due to its call for 3 days of protests, saying that protests are not a solution to the problems affecting Kenyans. Speaking in Mugori Girls School in Murang'a County during a prize-giving ceremony, President William Ruto and his allies praised the police for their professionalism during the protests.
Everybody must respect the rule of law, and we are asking our security agencies, our law enforcement officers to be thorough, to be firm, and I want to commend our security agencies for being professional in how they have handled all these people. Criminals must be dealt with firmly, decisively, and made sure that everybody respects the rule of law and we don't encourage impunity of any nature.
Don't sit there and imagine that you can destroy property, kill people, and then the police can come and kiss you. It will not happen.
We cannot have a country, Your Excellency, where people fear to walk freely and go about their business.
The majority leader Kimani Ichung'wah and Kiharu MP Ndindi Nyoro called on the task force formed to look into the welfare of the police officers to hasten and ensure their salaries are increased.
There are criminal elements that have taken advantage of the demonstrations that were called by those in the opposition. And we have seen even armed groups engaging our police officers with arms.
Police wetu, nawashukuru sana for your patriotism, for your professionalism. Na mimi nataka kuuliza, ile task force ilikuwa formed ya kuangalia maslahi ya polisi wetu. Waharakisha hiyo kazi, tuongeze polisi wetu mshahara kwa sababu wanafanya kazi mzuri ya kuprotect mali ya umma na kusimamisha maandamano.
The president added that no one is above the law, stressing that the law must be obeyed, adding that those who break the law shall be held responsible.
Irrespective of who you are, irrespective of the authority you think you have or the power you imagine you have, all of us must respect the rule of law.
Eric Matika, TV 47.
Well, thanks, Eric, for that story. Now, tonight, retired President Uhuru Kenyatta has lashed out at the government for harassing his family, claiming detectives had visited his son's Jomo Kenyatta's home in Karen, search for weapons. Visibly angry Kenyatta challenged President William Ruto to face him directly instead of targeting his son and his mother, former First Lady Mama Ngina Kenyatta. The former president, while expressing his frustrations in a late evening press conference, told Ruto not to take his silence for cowardice. Apollo Kamau reports.
In a bare-knuckled attack on President William Ruto and the Kenya Kwanza state machinery, a visibly angry retired President Uhuru Kenyatta, in a late evening televised address, lashed out at the government for allegedly raiding his son Jomo's home in Karen in search of illegal weapons, a move that did not go down well with the former president, including intimidation by the state on his mother, former First Lady Margaret Kenyatta.
I don't know what's in front of my mother's house. I have people who have been guarding my mother for the last almost 50 years, withdrawn at night. I have now a situation where my son's home is being raided for things that I don't understand. So I ask myself, what does this government want? Because if it wants me, the fact that I've been silent doesn't mean I'm scared. Come for me.
The former president has now trained his guns on President William Ruto, daring him to go for him in what is a first in the country's political history, where a former head of state and the incumbent don't see each other eye to eye.
To you who think you can intimidate an old woman so that you intimidate me, who think you can intimidate children and grandchildren so you can intimidate. If you want me, come, here I am. Sijaenda pahali. Msiende kusema huyu ametoroka, ameenda. Niko na watu yenu, wanajua every second, wanajua niko wapi.
Kenyatta, who has been accused by the government for bankrolling Azimio demonstrations, says he will not withdraw his support for Odinga, terming it as his democratic right.
Why should it? That is my democratic right. It is my democratic right, yes, enshrined in our constitution that Kenyans voted for, right? That Kenyans voted for. Huh? Mzee Moi died as a member of KANU, and KANU ceased to rule this country in 2022.
The former president further taking a swipe at President Ruto to focus on solving the issues affecting Kenyans instead of looking for scapegoats.
Why don't they deal with the issues and the concerns that Kenyans are raising? That's what they should be dealing with, not looking for scapegoats. Yeah, go deal with the issues that Kenyans are raising, right? When I was in power, I was dealing with the issues that Kenyans were raising.
Apol Kamau, TV47.
Oh, thank you, Apollo, for that. Embakasi East, a Member of Parliament, Babu Owino, has posted anticipatory bail in a bid to block rearrest, which they term as illegal. Babu Owino had earlier on been released on cash bail of 100,000 Kenya shillings. He is facing charges of conspiracy to commit subversive activities. Further, his legal team has plans on suing the state and the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, seeking to quash charges against the Member of Parliament, as Sheila Chilagat reports.
Friday morning, and Babu Owino arrived at the Milimani Law Courts for the deciding moment, the hearing of his bail application. Charged with conspiring to commit subversive activities, Babu was presented before Chief Magistrate Lucas Onyina, this coming 3 days after his dramatic arrest at the JKIA Tuesday morning.
I'm trying to get some more.
Babu's legal team, however, were disgruntled, claiming that yesterday's court orders were not followed. The court had ordered that the MP be taken to hospital. However, he was taken to Kileleshwa police station. Further, they say their client was bruised, alleging that he was assaulted while in custody.
Our client was in the police station, Kileleshwa police station. The court has noted that 30 men, goons, got into the police station, police cells, and they battered and assaulted our clients. We have made the complaint to the police, to the court, and the court has given its direction.
Of the 7 accused persons is granted bond of Kenya shillings 200,000 with one surety of the same amount, with alternative cash bail of Kenya shillings 100,000.
The police present at the Milimani Law Courts was beefed up, and the legal team said it was of bad taste.
We are appealing to the Chief Justice to make sure that the courts are out of bound for police officers, and especially those who are fully geared, armed with the tear gas. And when they come here, let them not touch advocates. We are not part of the dispute.
And after he was granted bail, this video of Babu surfaced, in which he expressed fears of being rearrested.
The CID from the DCI headquarters and from Nairobi area, they are all here at the court. They are waiting to rearrest me.
At the close of business today, Babu's lawyers posted anticipatory bail, saying that the police want to arrest their client illegally. Further, they are suing the government and the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, seeking to quash charges preferred against him. The matter will be brought up for mention in court next week. Sheila Chelangat, TV47, Nairobi.
Well, away from that, Azimio la Umoja leaders, led by National Assembly Minority Leader Opiyo Wandayi, have claimed that Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka is under house arrest since Tuesday evening. They have condemned the government for undermining the efforts of the opposition to hold their constitutional right.
Since at the current home of Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka. This is after claims that the Azimio core principals under house arrest. Vehicles whose owners could not be immediately identified, although widely associated with the DCI officers. As one way to curtail further escalation of demonstrations in the country, the Azimio la Umoja principals are still getting it tough from the government to progressively conduct their protests, as they normally would be frontline leaders said to be under police radar. Kalonzo's plight confirmed by his handlers, who say he has been under house arrest since Tuesday.
Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka has been essentially under house arrest since Tuesday evening. So we came to check on him. And luckily, because when you guys also arrived, those who had put him under house arrest also gave way. But he's in high spirits, and he's actively involved in our activities.
The leaders who were speaking in Karen during their visit to Kalonzo's home, they have condemned the government for undermining their constitutional rights.
We hope that whoever is responsible will desist from the same and allow him to enjoy his liberty and freedom of movement.
While echoing the remarks by other Azimio proponents, Eugene Wamalwa has reiterated that the opposition will seek justice from international communities against the government for using excess force to the protesters.
Hizi kesi tutapeleka hadi mahakama ya kimataifa kule Hague kuhakikisha all police officers who use their firearms illegally are held to account.
On his side, the embattled Jubilee Party leader Jeremiah Kioni has noted that the coalition will be giving a way forward concerning their demonstration next week.
I think it's also good to say as leaders that we still continue saying pole to those who lost their loved ones, because again, yesterday, the day before, there were those who were shot. We still have quite a number of people in hospital. Pia tunawatakia wapone kwa haraka, but as a country, it is a sad thing to go through that kind of a thing at this time.
The announcement on Kalonzo's alleged arrest comes after reports emerged that the Wiper Party leader held a closed-door meeting with a group of diplomats from the United Nations, the European Union, the United States, and Denmark. While Musyoka has not personally spoken on the alleged meeting, several diplomat-piloted vehicles were, however, seen leaving his current home at around midday on Friday. The agenda on the closed-door session could not be immediately established. However, the supposed meeting comes in the wake of growing concern over the Azimio protests. Jackson Chacha, TV47.
Well, and in relation to the house arrest claims, Kalonzo Musyoka has spoken exclusively to TV47. TV47's Elizabeth Mutuku via phone. We would listen to that and perhaps get to establish what exactly is playing out. Let's listen in.
There have been security issues in your home and you've been grounded. Can you tell us what exactly happened?
Yeah, on Wednesday, when we had the main demonstrations planned, Subarus, about 6 Subaru vehicles came and made sure I didn't leave the house. They blocked and they stayed there for a very long time until they were sure the demonstrations were coming to an end. And then yesterday, they did a similar thing. But then I think they changed tactics. They were just going around. But it was clear they didn't want me to leave. And in fact, they came and told my people, Mwambie mzee asitoke. Mwambieni asitoke. So I think they also, some of them are sympathetic.
Were they allowing your family to come in, or is just about you leaving?
Yeah, they didn't mind about anybody else coming in. Of course, we minimized when we realized this. There are not many people coming in. Of course, they withdrew the security on Tuesday, I think Wednesday morning. Yeah, so when the security was withdrawn, then that's when they brought in the Subarus. Yeah, and even today, they were there because it's the third day. But I want the country to know we're okay.
Everything is okay, including your family?
We're okay. Yeah, our family and us and all of us are fine. Of course, it is not right psychologically to feel you can't leave your house. So it's really a combination of forced imprisonment and house arrest and all of that.
Were you by any chance given the charges, or rather, what were
No. They wouldn't dare, I think, because they know there's nothing we have done. Everything we have done is in accordance with our constitution, in accordance with the law of the land. Demonstrations are provided for under Article 37 of our constitution, provided, and we have always been insisting to people, our supporters, all Kenyans. In fact, I want to say across the board, not just Azimio, because the mistake the media is making sometimes is to say Azimio, whatever opposition rallies. These are not opposition. These are Kenyans who are feeling the terrible yoke of high cost of living. They can't afford food for their families, whether they are Azimio or Kenya Kwanza. So it's a whole nation. And I really must thank the Catholic bishops who came up very strongly on this issue. They said repeal the controversial Finance Act, which has been suspended by the courts and which the regime continues to implement. So that's where we are.
I understand also you had a meeting with diplomats today. Was this also an issue which was addressed?
Well, I can't, we agreed with the diplomats it's supposed to be without media briefing, so allow me not to comment on that issue. But they came, ambassadors came, and after they left, then they even brought in some other contingent of tear gassing policemen and others in a white Volkswagen, 7 of them. I think those are the ones who are detailed to make sure nikitoka tu wananishika.
Are you scared of whatever might happen to you or rather your family too?
Tuko sawa, tumejiandaa. Kuna watu wenye mishale. Watu wana mishale yenye sumu. What do we do?
I hear you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Asante.
All right, and we won't be carrying lots of news this evening. Eric Monene on standby on the other side for a very, very important conversation as to tech and innovation. But before then, let's take a look at the sports of the day. And the hopes of Africa remain balanced on